let's say somebody comes to you, they want to build a custom home,
Yep.
and they want the process to go smoothly.
Yep.
What's the best thing for what's the best way for them to approach because of course I do understand that when people start to see the home built, the vision kind of changes a little bit.
Yeah.
How does that affect you, and is that something that people should come to the builder about and say, hey, can we make changes and things like that?
Yeah, so custom homes are ostensibly, like you said, almost a whole different process in the sense that, number one, everything you do as a builder is being watched. And number two is it's really an emotional experience
that makes sense.
for the buyer.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're buying a spec home, yeah, maybe it's their first home, maybe it's their biggest home purchase or their biggest expenditure yet, but they kind of see what they get, and they can have a home inspection done, they can look at the house, they can touch it, feel it, they feel good about what they're buying. On a custom home, this may be their biggest investment, and they are just worried, or they have some anxiety about, am I really going to get what I want?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels in a big sense like this is very final, and whatever I do now, I can't change.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that. I mean, I built a home for myself, for my family, and it felt different than a home I built for somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, even though I knew the ins and outs of it more than probably the average home buyer, it still was very personal to me.
Sure.
In this, I wanted it to be just the way I want it, because this is my hard-earned money.
Right.
And but if you go to any chef, even if you love their food and you go in the kitchen with them, you probably don't want to watch them make the meal. It just doesn't look as appetizing until they plate it.
Yeah,
and that's why they plate it. And they dress it up and make it just perfect.
Sure.
But when you build a custom home, they're watching you cook the meal, so to speak. And
that makes a lot of sense.
So communication is key, and I think setting the expectation for, listen, guys, you're going to see a work in progress, and you got to give us a little grace here to understand that, trust us, that we're going to give you the finished product that you're asking for.
Sure.
But you got to let us get there. And so with the communication piece, there is got to be a personality fit.
Sure.
And I know home builders who really only do customs, and this particular builder told me one thing he always does before he agrees to build a house is he'll go out to eat with the family.
Oh, man. That's a good step.
Yeah, take them out to eat and just see how they react if they get the wrong meat. If the waiter does something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Are they yelling and screaming and asking for their money back? Or are they showing that waiter a little grace?
Sure.
And just making sure you have a good personality.
That's a great idea.
You're going to be living with that person, in a business relationship for the next year probably.
Yep.
And you got to make sure that they like you and you like them.